The October of 2002 saw Rob Cohen's film XXX released into British cinemas, with Vin Diesel starring as the titular character. Marketed as a sort of James Bond for the new millennium, with the opening scenes of the film featuring a less than subtle dig at the Bond series, XXX made almost $18 million at the UK box office before the 20th James Bond film, Die Another Day, opened the following month. It bested XXX by finishing with a UK gross of just over $59 million. It was clear that, in true Bond style, nobody does it better. Columbia TriStar Films submitted XXX to the BBFC for a theatrical rating late in 2002, with a request for a 12A. The film had been classified with a PG-13 rating in the United States, and the film company were keen to get the British equivalent for the film's UK release. However, the BBFC insisted on one cut before a 12A rating could be granted. The cut in question concerns a crunchy headbutt by Xander Cage, played by Vin Diesel, and the board were keen to point out their reasons for this cut in their annual report of 2002.
At the 12-12A category, the Bond-style action-adventure XXX required the removal of a particularly vicious headbutt administered by the hero. The board takes care that such combat techniques do not feature in films in the junior categories in contexts that invite imitation.
This is how the uncut version of the scene plays in the PG-13 version of the film.
Look who it is. Frankenstein. Uncuff me so I can beat the shit out of you.
Relax, X. You just graduated at the head of your class.
What the hell are you talking about? You almost got us killed out there.
You know the Colombian army is moving in.
Excuse me?
It was my idea to send you in as a decoy. They liked the idea.
You pretty fast for an old man.
In a note sent to the filmmakers, the BBFC instructed,
significantly reduce both sound and sight of Vin Diesel delivering headbutt to NSA agent.
As a result of these changes, the UK cinema version of the scene played thus, with the filmmakers using some awkwardly inserted alternate footage to lessen the impact of the headbutt.
Uncuff me so I can beat the shit out of you.
Relax, X. You just graduated at the head of your class.
What the hell are you talking about? You almost got us killed out there.
You know the Colombian army is moving in.
Excuse me?
It was my idea to send you in as a decoy. They liked the idea.
You pretty fast for an old man.
To illustrate the differences a little more clearly, here are both the PG-13 and 12A versions of the scene played side by side. After the BBFC were satisfied with the changes, with the filmmakers declining to accept an uncut 15 rating, XXX was passed 12A for a UK cinema release on September the 24th, 2002, with the BBFC consumer advice noting that the film
contains intense action scenes and mild drugs references.
Columbia TriStar Home Video later submitted XXX to the BBFC for a home video classification, and the version submitted was the pre-cut UK cinema version. No further cuts were demanded, and the film was passed 12 in January 2003, with the BBFC noting that the film
contains moderate violence.
A few years later, a sequel to XXX was due to be released into theatres, and Columbia TriStar Home Video decided to capitalise on the sequel's release by releasing an extended version of XXX on DVD, which was marketed as the uncensored, unrated director's cut in the United States. This version of XXX inserts some non-contentious scenes that were removed for reasons of pacing from the theatrical cut, as well as some scenes of sexualised posing that would appear to have been cut to obtain a PG-13 rating in the US. This extended cut of the film was submitted to the BBFC for a DVD rating, and was passed uncut with a 12 rating on April 18, 2005, with the BBFC's consumer advice noting that the film
contains moderate violence and drug references.
But things are not as simple as they seem. Despite the BBFC passing the film uncut, the headbutting scene is still missing from the director's cut DVD as per the UK cinema version. When asked for clarification about the status of the UK version of the director's cut, the BBFC responded,
The director's cut included the content that was cut from the earlier cinema and video releases. Under new guidelines, the work was acceptable at 12.
On the face of it, this suggests the UK director's cut DVD that was passed by the BBFC was identical to the unrated American version. Indeed, by this point in time, BBFC guidelines with regards to headbutts had already begun to be relaxed, with such films as The Bourne Identity, LXG, and Batman Begins all past 12A uncut, with scenes featuring crunchy and repeated headbutts. Regardless of the BBFC's words in this case, the director's cut DVD of XXX in the UK still contains the censored version of the headbutting scene. To add insult to injury, the director's cut DVD in the UK, which was renamed to the Extreme Edition in order to avoid the term unrated, carries a 15 rating, which implies stronger content than the theatrical version. Sadly, this is not the case. The 15 rating is due to the bonus scenes in the special features, which upgraded the overall DVD rating to 15. In addition to all of this, Columbia TriStar saw fit to release this UK-specific version throughout Europe, meaning the only way to get the proper version of the director's cut is to import the American Region 1 DVD, which contains no MPAA or BBFC cuts whatsoever. For fans wishing to own the theatrical cut of XXX without BBFC cuts, they can import either the American PG-13 DVD or the American region-free Blu-ray release, both of which are uncut. The UK Blu-ray carries a 12 rating, but the specifications of the disc also match the American Blu-ray version, implying that the same uncut master was used in both countries. At the time this episode was made, the censorship status of the UK Blu-ray is not confirmed, so fans may wish to import the American disc to be on the safe side. The Hollywood suits obviously felt that XXX had been successful enough, and, as previously mentioned, a sequel followed. Released in 2005, XXX State of the Union, which was renamed to XXX The Next Level in countries outside of the United States, featured Ice Cube as Darius Stone, the next agent to be enrolled in the XXX program. Like its prequel, XXX State of the Union had received a PG-13 rating for its theatrical release in the United States, and this version of the film was submitted to the BBFC in the UK for an advice viewing, in order to find out whether the film needed tailoring for a 12A rating. The BBFC stated that one change was indeed needed in order to attain a 12A rating, citing the following sequence from the opening of the film as problematic. This is how it plays in the PG-13 version of the film.
What the hell? Code red, we got a
This scene was censored before the film was submitted for a formal BBFC rating, with the board noting,
During post-production, the distributor sought and was given advice on how to secure a 12A classification. Following this advice, a sequence early in the film in which a man is stabbed from behind was changed prior to submission to remove detail of the knife emerging from his stomach.
Following this change, the censored UK version of the film played as follows.
What the hell? Code red, we got a
For comparison's sake, here are the two versions of the scene played concurrently in order to illustrate the slight change that was made for UK audiences. After cuts had been made, XXX The Next Level was classified 12A without any formal cuts on April 4, 2005, with the BBFC noting that the film
contains moderate violence and one use of strong language.
This pre-cut version was later submitted for home video classification, and no further cuts were demanded by the BBFC. It was passed with a 12 rating on August 24, 2005, and was the version released on video and DVD in the UK. Like the director's cut version of its predecessor, This same pre-cut version was released on DVD in other PAL format territories, meaning that many other countries were given the censored UK version on home video. The UK Blu-ray released in 2008 also sports a 12 rating, and would appear to be the same cut version as released in UK theatres and on DVD. Fans wishing to own the uncut version of the film can import the American Region 1 DVD. The American Blu-ray release is region-free and is also presumably uncut, as the disc has different languages and subtitles in comparison to the censored European releases. To summarise, the route to go for XXX fans anywhere in the world is to import the American versions of both films in order to enjoy them without BBFC cuts. As things are now, the UK versions of either film should be avoided by those who are seeking uncut versions in any form.
Over 100,000 people craning to get a glimpse of this year's tributes, and the sponsors get to see the tributes for the first time. The importance of this moment cannot be overstated. This moment is a moment that you never forget, when a tribute becomes a victor.